What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle, and today is the day that we're talking about FIFA 20. We're looking at game modes, gameplay, what we know, and I'm gonna help you read in between the lines. If you're with me, think I'm speaking the truth, make sure to drop a thumbs up. And let's talk about everything with FIFA 20, what you're excited about, what you're frustrated about, everything in between. We're going through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So where are we at currently with game modes? There has been an announcement schedule released, and what's good about this announcement schedule, in my opinion, is we do see career mode and pro clubs on the schedule, which means surely EA is making some sort of adjustment, some sort of changes, whether that's a big change, a small shift, whether it's going to be positive. It really can't be negative, just because in those two game modes in particular, EA really hasn't implemented anything new in quite some time. Not groundbreaking, not game changing, not gonna get me out of my seat. We're gonna stay sitting down. But in case you haven't seen this announcement schedule, now you know. And of course, the big announcement is Volta, where you're looking at a 3v3, a 4v4, a 5v5, short-sided football, FIFA Street included into next year's FIFA installment. This is a good progression. However, they've came out and said, for whatever reason, EA didn't make this game mode where it has the ability to play with your friends online. So you can play online, but it's still in a 1v1 format, and that just leaves you asking why. When they open up this conversation and they invest so much money to develop another game mode within FIFA, even with the journey, you're talking about millions of dollars with the department they're building out, the amount of man hours, and I just don't understand how they can miss that this would be a priority for the community. With the Volta inclusion, this also could mean we see less skill move hype in the traditional FIFA title, because they can almost separate realism and arcadey play. And I'm not sure what EA is gonna do with this dilemma. It's always been the debate. How do you balance a fun video game and also having a football simulation experience? We don't know yet, but Volta better have some sort of story and narrative behind it as well. I need that 2K vibe. They tried to do that with the journey. They really did. But after the first year and one playthrough of the journey, it doesn't have additional replay value. And if you're an online FIFA player, the journey is not attractive for at least half of those guys, even to roll through once. What I'm saying, EA, if you're listening, and I'm not the only one spitting this out, I'll just be one of many. We need to be able to play online with our friends. 3v3s, 4v4s, 5v5s. Let us share that experience. That's good for the community, and it adds another casual game mode that people will enjoy, which is great for your image. Game modes, done. Let's talk about gameplay. A lot was announced at EA Play, and I do want to start this off by saying EA knows what to tell us to get us excited. They've been able to do this year after year. They tell you what you want to hear, and then you have to wonder how many patches or how many different titles are we going to play throughout one FIFA installment. And also, it's about execution. This year is a good example of EA trying some new features, but the execution behind goalkeeper movement, timed finishing, the 360 shooting, the RNG, the build-up play, the lack of responsiveness, and then you add in suspect servers, and you've got yourself a bit of a train wreck in terms of the consistent gameplay. And then you have the trend of pack opening streamers or content creators, or menu streamers and menu content creators, because the content outside of playing the game is incredible this year. It's almost overwhelming. That was a bit of a rant that didn't talk that much about gameplay, so let's look into a little more depth with FIFA 20. Game flow, dynamic one-on-ones. In theory, I've got no complaints. It's gonna come down to the reoccurring theme. Do we have balance? Is this even on both ends? Is the defensive player even to the offensive player when you're going at these dynamic 1v1s? So if I time a step properly on the defensive side of the pitch, do I get the ball? Or is this still going to be a bounce back situation? Or if someone has Cristiano Ronaldo, I understand that's an advantage, but is he just going to be able to bump through the opponents? He's got quicker reactions, better size, better strength. Does this become just a game about statistics? Or are you going to allow the skill gap to potentially be greater with more manual controls that you're rewarded for? So it's kind of the risk to reward equilibrium. AI defending, Sam Rivera. stress this. Main man in terms of gameplay. I've met Sam on multiple occasions. I'll believe it when I see it. That AI defending is not going to be a major factor. And this is where I talk about, is it worth you manually defending? If you are a casual player, maybe even an intermediate player, you're thinking to yourself, I think I'm gonna hold the contain button. If I was creating the game, I just eliminate it. I think it was a bad addition to FIFA. It made it where people relied on being able to contain, relied on the AI being able to block shots, relied on the AI stepping for you. It's gotten to a point where they're capable of doing anything and everything on the pitch. How many opponents do you go up against where their attack looks good, free flowing, fluid, 1-2s, they get in behind, they know all the tricks, they understand the meta, and then you watch that guy defend and he has no idea what he's doing. Didn't even put effort into learning how to defend, because why? The AI will take care of it for me. Worst case, if I start losing, you basically hit the switch with team pressing or constant pressure or pressure on a heavy touch, or when the possession's lost, you shift your depth all the way this way, and all of a sudden you're an aggressive pressure player and you didn't really learn anything about being able to manually defend. That's a major flaw. Sam Rivera also said there will be more physical trait separation. I like this. Basically, at least the way that I'm interpreting what he said and how he said it, faster players will indeed create additional separation versus a slower player. So when you get loose and you've got Mertens, he's not necessarily going to get caught by a Vincent Kompany. Speed doesn't match up. Therefore, a big mistake is going to be punished more often than not, which as a FIFA enthusiast and a football supporter, I want that. Sam also stressed and put a focus point on stronger players being able to use that strength in order to impact matches. We'll see how that plays out. At the end of the day, someone who's slow, even if he's super strong, unless the turning is much quicker, I just see a liability. You can whip in crosses to him, but the way that FIFA's built out, it never rewards that type of player. I want to be wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm doing stat checking. I played last year's installment, the previous one, and the previous one before that. Physical slow players don't impact matches. They don't make a big difference. Even when 360 shielding was introduced, it still was all about being able to shield with a player that was strong and fast and had the skills. The Ruud Hullets, the Cristianos. You could make an argument that Vieira, who was good at shielding, maybe didn't have some of the dribbling characteristics, but at the same time, his stats are good to go. And Vieira also had premium touches as a footballer. Underrated. For a big man in the midfield, he could do it all. Strafe dribbling, I'm anticipating this to be some sort of function similar to face-up dribbling. Maybe even if you wanted to bring it back to no touch. EA is trying different techniques with some of the basic dribbles. Set piece refresh. I'm a bit of a skeptic with normal set pieces, mainly because as long as goalkeeper movement exists, you're not going to see that many goals scored directly. It's not impossible. It's not that it never happens. We even see it at the professional level, but it's just not that common, and it's still going to be a game of layoffs, is at least what I'm anticipating with your traditional set pieces, so anything from outside of the box. However, penalty kicks. In FIFA 19, it feels as if you're playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. If I guess left, you go left, I'm saving it, 100%. Same with going down the middle, same with going down the right. So it does make it where it's just a guessing game, and the preciseness of your shot-taking capabilities or lack thereof, it's not relevant. We need a little more aim, we need some more oomph. We need more ways of scoring and more margin of error, even on the goalkeeper end, where you actually have to commit to a dive, or someone is rewarded for being better at taking those penalty kicks or handling the nerves, not little dribblers. Do we agree? Ball physics. Every year, EA talks about improved physics. This doesn't mean anything to me. I hope the ball's knuckling everywhere. At the end of the day, the game's still on the Frostbite engine. I do not expect leaps and bounds of differences in terms of the ball knuckling or the angling, the spin, the trajectory that you're receiving. Don't expect anything drastic here. Composed finishing. Now, this is exciting because in FIFA 19, it's easier to score from outside the box, especially when the game first came out. I was at competitive events and I came to realize you didn't even need to work the ball in. There was no build-up play. It was all about shooting from distance. And even now, with the first time shooting, the 360 shots that are surprisingly still effective to this day, and just the general consistency for long shooting versus the inconsistency for finishing within the box. How many times have you had a 1v1, you make the same choice, 5 of them go in, 5 of them don't. You shoot the ball wide, even if it's a green time finish. You hit the post way too often from inside the box. Our current finishing system, or lack thereof, in FIFA 19 could be the largest disappointment or inconsistency on the offensive end of the pitch, because there's nothing less rewarding than you work your tail off, you get a breakaway, or you have a shot from 6-7 yards out and it goes wide, or the keeper saves it over and over again, or you take the same shot. We're talking about power versus finesse, low driven, chip, same aiming, you open up your body the same way and you get different results. That's just not what FIFA's been about, unless it was player based where you're using someone who doesn't have the ability or the weak foot. That's different. But if I have a breakaway with Cristiano Ronaldo 10 times, 5 of them go in, 5 of them go wide, or they get saved, I don't know. I guess that's part of the video game aspect as well, where in real life that makes sense. You could get these breakaways and your percentage of finishing would be through the roof, but even if you chose a similar way of placing the ball, it could be saved. You have a mental battle there against the goalkeeper. But at the same time, in real life, when you're shooting outside the box, every step you get away from that goal, the percentage of you converting, it's going down. Whereas in FIFA, up to about 25 to 30 yards, I think it's going up. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop some love. Let me know in the comments. We could talk about everything, and I have a lot more content coming for you ASAP.